online haircut.
Welcome back, guys, to the Avenues podcast. Now, this week is a special. For 7 days, I went down to Mexico to Cabo San Lucas and explored the beautiful city and everything that Mexico has to offer. Now, this week, I'm going to be showing you guys that trip, telling you guys the ins and outs of Cabo San Lucas, what not to do, what you should do going down there, and some things to avoid or be aware of. At the southern edge of Baja California, where the desert kisses the sea, lies a destination that defines limits, Cabo San Lucas. More than a beach town, this is the edge of the world, where the Pacific meets the Sea of Cortez beneath the ancient granite of El Arco. 30 million years in the making, and still shaping memories every day. They call it Land's End. But for me, it was just the beginning. San Jose del Cabo. Vibrant flags overhead, and just a little short drive away from the main city. Historic, soulful, and alive with color, this is where tradition whispers through every plaza. Then came the adrenaline.
Vámonos!
No tour buses, no pavement, just raw Baja terrain and my own two hands gripping the wheel. So first things first, I went to Cabo San Lucas in February when the weather was really nice there. It wasn't too hot in Mexico at the time. I know in the summers it gets really, really hot there. And when I went, I had a lot of fun. So little tips and tricks, that's the first thing I'm going to be telling you guys about. The first thing I have to say, you must stay in a resort. If you don't, then that's very risky. The Airbnb service around there is very dodgy. If you have a rental property, that's a whole different story. But if you're going as a tourist, I 100% recommend go to a resort. It's the easiest way to do it. You get all-inclusive. All your meals are paid for. Pretty much all you can eat, everything, anytime you want, really. Any drink that you want on the menu for free at all times, pretty much as well. Obviously, there's restrictions like kitchen closes at a certain time, or you're not allowed to be at the pool at a certain time where you're ordering drinks, stuff like that. That's just kind of obvious. But you get your money's worth for sure. Especially if you really like to eat food, if you enjoy eating food or drinking all the time, then yeah, this is perfect for you, right? I stayed at the Royal Solaris. Shout out to you. You guys were fine. I had a good trip with you guys. I've been to Cabo before. This is my second time being in Cabo San Lucas. I've been to Mexico a few times, but second time in Cabo. I love Mexico. I just want to put that out there. I love Mexico. I love the culture so much. The people, the food. I love Mexico. Dia de los Muertos, muy bien. I love it. Stuff like that. So it was awesome to return. I haven't been to Cabo since 2013, so it was very good to be back. So yeah, the Royal Solaris was pretty good. Nothing too fancy, nothing too luxurious. It was a 4-star resort, and that's a fair assessment. It was a 4-star resort for me as well. The only things I would say that is not making it a 5-star is the fact that there were some small little things, like some glasses I had were a little chipped, or some of the service wasn't top tier. Like sometimes it took a while for them to come and bring a drink at the pool, or sometimes the entertainment wasn't that great as advertised. It wasn't as good as it looked. Those things are the reason why I'm not giving it 5 stars. But would I stay again? Yeah, if I wanted to go back and I had a good source of where to go, I would definitely do that. Now, I could speak for most of Cabo San Lucas and their resorts. As soon as you get in the front door, there's people there that are going to ask you, especially at the Royal Solaris, if you guys do stay there. There's people that say they see you come in, enter the hotel as tourists, first time, right? Oh, let's put our bags away, get settled in. There's people there that are going to go up to you and say, hey, can you follow me into my office? I have an opportunity for you, or I have something to give you guys, right? Something along the lines of that. They lure you to their office, and they're trying to sell you a timeshare. So just say no, because it's a big waste of time unless you really want to buy a timeshare. But most people that go there, you're not planning on getting a timeshare. You're just going there for a vacation. So just say no. As soon as they come at the very front, they're asking for a timeshare, just disregard it and move on. Just say, nope, got to check in, got to put my bags down, something along the lines. Just disregard it, whatever, right? The other thing I would recommend, obviously, keep your wits about you. Now, Cabo is not specifically a dangerous place when it comes to all of Mexico. But there are a lot of people, I know in Canada, that you just don't see this. Really, in any first world country, you don't really see this, now that I think about it. But there's a lot of people that are begging, a lot of people that are trying to sell you their product, whether that's a sewn blanket or sunglasses or food that they're selling or a product or service. They're going to be on your ass. When I was at the marina in Cabo, the very famous marina that a lot of people go to, covered in tourists, I'm not kidding, probably about every 10 seconds, I had someone come up to me and say, hey, do you want to buy this? Or look at what I got. You want to buy this? Looks cool, right? Like something along the lines of that.
Oh, lo siento.
Any two Royal Solaris has the best price.
No, lo siento. Hola. No, lo
Any boat service guys?
So just be respectful. Obviously, be polite. These guys aren't disrespectful. They are pushy, but they're not being disrespectful. So just say no, or just say like, I don't want that, or sorry, whatever, something like that. The other thing I would recommend is find a credible source. You're in Cabo, right? You want to do some fun shit. You want to go out. You want to go snorkeling. You want to go sightseeing. You want to do all these adventures, right? Find someone you trust. At the end of the day, everyone's an entrepreneur there. Everyone's a businessman. Everyone is just trying to get some bread, right? I was at the airport. I had one guy tell me, oh, this is the best deal. Don't go to anyone else because they will try to scam you. This is the best deal. Don't even try to go anywhere else, right? I get to my hotel. They're offering me the package deals, right? I go across the street from my hotel, and there's this guy that is giving out the lowest rate that I've seen on the 7 days that I've been there. And he said the hotels hate me because I'm always trying to sell my product. I'm always trying to sell the tours for the lowest price, and the hotels get mad at me, and they've even told me to stop it, but he keeps doing it. So good for you. I mean, if you're watching this, shout out to you. I got the guy's email, so if I do go back, I will hit him up. And that's what I mean by get a respectable source, because now that I know this guy and I trust him, I know he's not a bad guy. He's a super friendly dude. He approached us like anyone else would, right? Trying to sell or push their product, but super respectful, super friendly, and he loved that I was Canadian, so that's awesome. And yeah, no, you got to find someone like that. Find someone who you get a good deal with. Get in contact with them. Keep that connection that you guys have. Maybe you do more than one tour. I only did ATVs. I know there was other offers, like the Camels are really big there. The horses, I wouldn't recommend that. That's a whole different story. But the horses as well. Snorkeling, huge. And, of course, the arch, right? So find a credible person, someone you trust, someone that you know is not going to dick you over. Get to know the prices. Don't just go out for one day and be like, oh, this guy has the lowest deal. 2, maybe even 3 days trying to find the lowest asking price for you to get the tour. And then make up your mind with that. Now, the horses. Along Cabo, there's a lot of horses everywhere. And at my resort, they had these old horses at the beach in front of, on the backside of the hotel. And they were trying to get people to pay money to ride them. And I saw people doing that. Now, I got to say, do not do that. I mean, do whatever you want, right? But I wasn't going to do that because these horses are old. And they're standing out in this hot sun all day. Even in the wintertime when I went, it's still hot. It's like 28 degrees. I don't think they're treated very nicely because of that. They should be out in a pasture or somewhere else where they're treated nicely. They don't have any water there for them. I think they feed them, but I didn't see any sort of water source for them at all. They didn't have buckets. I never saw them giving them water. And they just stand out in the sun all day. Yeah, I've never seen them laying down either. So don't support that. I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't tell anyone to do that. I just think it's inhumane at the end of the day. The other thing I would say is you guys have to bargain. They know you're tourists. They know that you are from somewhere else that's not Mexico, and you're probably more rich than they are. They will try to upcharge you for anything they can. If it's not a company, if it's a person with a small business that is pushing you a product that's not like a company tour, anything like that, bargain. Because you will get a better price. They will budge, and you can nudge them a bit, and they will go down. I bought this t-shirt. Let me show you guys. Okay, here it is. I bought this pretty cool t-shirt. I got this in Mexico, and I got it because I bargained. Roll the clip on me getting the shirt.
Aquí.
That's the back? This is a friend.
Okay.
Nice one, eh?
Que padre.
Yes, muy padre, yeah? Make at least 400. How's that? Canadiense, sí. How about 350?
300.
So what? Let's do it. Just
Okay.
from Canada.
Gracias, señor.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
Gracias.
Perfecto. Muchas gracias.
Muy
amigo. Thank you so much.
amable.
Siempre de nada.
Gracias.
Muy amable.
Yeah, that's how I got that. You guys need a bargain. Be smart with it. And I know it's just pesos and it's worth a lot less, but still, this is barely a discount that I got. You know, cheap, but nothing crazy. If I wanted to go down, maybe he would have. I don't know. The camels are another thing. I don't know how humane that is, hence why I didn't do it. At first, I was like, yeah, let's do it. That's awesome, right? Why not? I started to think about it. Why are camels in Mexico? That doesn't make sense to me. So they claim that they're rescued, but they raise them in their facilities. They never leave their area, really, unless they're doing tours. So I don't know how they treat them because I didn't see that. They don't show people that. So that was a bit of a red flag for me, but they claim that they're rescued and well taken care of, but you don't see that. So I'm not going to do something that I don't know for sure. If I'm supporting a business, like I want to know what I'm supporting exactly. So I didn't do that. But, I mean, hey, I don't know. Maybe it's fine. You guys tell me what you think, if you think you would do it or not. I don't know. Up to you. The other thing I checked out is Cabo Wabo. I'd recommend going to Cabo Wabo if you guys are there. Got the shirt on as well, as you probably noticed. Sammy Hagar. This is the big one. He goes to this one. You know, I think it's a pretty cool place. You don't have to order food to check it out, I don't think. You can't bring water in, though. So keep in mind that if you do have water on you, you got to ditch that. Kind of weird considering it's Mexico, but makes sense. They want the business, right? So, yeah, I would check it out. Pretty cool. They have some cool music there as well, and they got a band playing there a lot of the time. So, yeah, I'd recommend check that out. Back in the 80s, a certain red-haired rock god named Sammy Hagar was down in Cabo San Lucas before he was even close to the hotspot it is now. He fell in love with the vibe, the sun, the sea, and the soul of this place. So what does a rock star do? He doesn't just buy a vacation home, he builds a cantina, a place to eat, drink, jam, and live free. In 1990, Cabo Wabo Cantina was born. Everyone thought he was nuts.
I told these guys about the idea. I said we ought to build a club down there. The only thing that's a bummer is you get all inspired and you got no place to play. And the whole band went for it. Yeah, suckers, you know.
The road wasn't even paved down here yet. No big crowds, no resorts, just sand, surf, and vision. But Sammy saw it coming. He said this place was going to blow up. Over the years, Cabo Wabo became a bucket list for rock fans, beach lovers, tequila chasers, and wild souls from all over the world. This place is more than food and music. It's the birthplace of Cabo Wabo tequila, Sammy's own brand. Back in the early days, they were importing it in trucks of cars. Today, it's one of the most iconic tequilas in the world, and Sammy sold most of it for nearly $100 million. The other thing I would recommend for most people is checking out the ATVs. I did cactus tours, and I can say it's a pretty good source. I would recommend them. You can get to book a cactus tour in a lot of places in Cabo San Lucas. If you search it up on Google, you can probably find a place to go book it. But it's a really good tour. I'd recommend. And it's safe. The people there are pretty nice as well. The views were freaking amazing. Oh my gosh. Seeing the water as you're driving or in the passenger seat. I was in the passenger seat for about 15 minutes, and I was driving for 45. Both are pretty fun. But yeah, I remember looking at the water with being on the beach. It was amazing. It felt like I was in like Africa. It was incredible. So I'd recommend anyone to try out the ATVs as well. Here's another thing, another tip I would give, a trick as well, a little combination of both. Book the cheapest option of just having the normal car, not the kid one. Get the normal ATV, not the 200 horsepower one or whatever. Get the normal ATV. Don't pay extra for the others. The insurance is a little bit of a scam, but if you do wreck it, it is on you. So that's up to you if you want to do the insurance or not for that. I think it's like $50. This is my tip and trick. Don't upgrade. So don't go up for a faster or bigger vehicle than they ask you. And don't do the private tour unless you're there for a filming trip and you want to just be you and no one else, then yeah, go for it. But overall, I wouldn't recommend doing it because I was only there with one other car. So up to you, but it's a risk. The guy I was with, he tried to upgrade me to to the bigger vehicle, but they said no because no one was using it. So that tells you something. Now, I went to go see the Arch, like most people do when they're in Cabo, right? So I went to Arch. It was a lot of fun. I've been there before, actually. So last time when I went, it was in 2013, and I was on a glass-bottom boat. I think that's what most people do. I think they go onto the glass-bottom boat. We could see all the fish at the bottom, which is pretty cool. But the boats are old and a little rickety. So if you don't really like that motion aspect of being on a boat, then I wouldn't recommend it. But if you want a cheap option of just seeing the Ark, you don't really care, you're with some people sometimes, you can get a private glass-bottom boat. So if you want the cheapest option, glass-bottom boat with more passengers on it, strangers, and then the crew, you get to see the Ark, just do that. So I went on a glass-bottom boat before. It was just me and my family back in 2013 when I did it, and I didn't really dislike it. I thought it was cool. I got to see all the fish at the bottom. It was really, really cool, and I got to see the Ark as well. So, but this time I went on a boat, and the boat was really cool. It was like $50 for an hour, and you got to see the Arch, you got to go whale watching, and you could also go swimming. It was like $50 for 2 hours, and I got to see the Arch, and I went to go see whales, so they take you whale watching as well, and you get to go swimming. So it's pretty much anything you want to do in those 2 hours you can do. They hooked me up with the Bluetooth speaker on the boat, so I was playing my music. Latin American music, obviously. Shout out to all my Hispanic fans. Anyway, I personally liked renting the boat more. I thought you just get a bit more bang for your buck, and I thought it was worth it paying more money for the private boat that you get to go on. Yeah, it was really cool. I got to swim in the Sea of Cortez. That's a good flex, I would say. You know, it was so cold, but it was so fresh. The water was so fresh. It was really, really cool. I even went onto a beach as well after swimming off the boat. At the southernmost tip of the Baja California Peninsula, where the vast Pacific Ocean meets the tranquil Sea of Cortez, stands a timeless sentinel, El Arco. Carved by nature over millions of years, this majestic granite arch makes the very end of the land's end. El Arco is a testament to the relentless forces of wind and sea, sculpting the rugged coastline into this iconic formation. Formed approximately 30 million years ago, long before tourists arrived, the indigenous Paracu people revered this place. To them, El Arco was more than a natural wonder. It was a bridge to the afterlife, a sacred site for ceremonies and reflection. In the 16th century, Spanish explorers charted these waters, naming the arch Finisterre, the end of the earth. For sailors, it was a navigational landmark. For pirates, a strategic hideout. Today, El Arco draws visitors from around the globe. Accessible only by boat, it's a gateway to adventures, snorkeling in the vibrant reefs, lounging on Lover's Beach, or witnessing sea lions basking in the sun. As the sun dips below the horizon, casting golden hues over the arch, one can't help but feel the magic of this place. A convergence of natural beauty, rich history, and enduring legend. That's the other tip. Do not drink the water. The people at the resort or any company you really talk to, they're mindful of that. They want the money, right? They want people to keep coming back. So they'll tell you, do not drink the water. So don't drink the water. It's not clean water. I don't think it's filtered very well at all. So a lot of people that do drink the water, and when I say water, I say like tap water and stuff like that. Only take water if you know that it's been purified, clean, or whatever. So bottles, that everyone just drinks out of water bottles. I wouldn't recommend drinking out of the resort. They had a water fountain at my resort, and they said it was fine to drink out of because it's cleaned or whatever, but I wouldn't trust it. I'm not saying they're lying, but I'm just saying I don't know how well it's clean, you know, third world country and all that. I don't know how the standards are compared to Canada or any other first world nation. So I wouldn't recommend it, but do whatever you want. Yeah, people do get sick from drinking that. I saw, it was as I was leaving in the airport, there was a report of this wedding that just got destroyed with everyone being sick because they were eating the food and the water, and then there was a whole ordeal, like the resort was denying it and stuff like that. So be careful with that for sure. It's not really a hard task. Just don't drink the water from the shower or your sink or anything like that in your room. They even told me don't brush your teeth with the water in the sink, just to be safe. Put, I take a bottle of water that they give you every day as well. They'll like restock like 2 or 3 bottles, that 1 liter bottles. So you're fine with that. Don't worry about getting water. And I just would take a bottle and I'll just pour it on my toothbrush and brush my teeth like that. So yeah, you don't really have to worry about that. The other thing I would say, if you're staying in Cabo, be careful of the waves. They are awesome, super, super cool, but don't get carried away. They can take you away because they're very, very strong, very powerful. Just be aware of that, I would say. If you go in, it will just take you under, and like people have drowned. So got to be careful. I was really in San Jose del Cabo, and I know the waves there are really, really strong, and you're not supposed to go in the ocean. At the beach, they tell you not to. So I'm not going to say how Cabo is, more in like the city side of it, but I will say if you're in San Jose del Cabo, don't go into the ocean really. Feet, ankles, knees at most. Don't go past your knees if you are going to go in. At the resort, they have there's the resort that I stayed at in the Royal Solaris had a gym. It had a tennis court, a basketball court. The basketball court is awesome. I had a lot of fun there. And then they also had a water park. It was more of a kid water park. They had one slide that looked pretty cool that I would have fun going down, but I didn't bother because the whole place is pretty much like a kid water park. So if you're going with kids, they'll love that. Yeah, they also do the entertainment nights. Every night they'll do like a show performance. It wasn't really that great. The quality of it wasn't interesting. For kids, it might be pretty cool. I know they had like Disney and stuff when I was there, but I heard they had a magic show the night before that I went to, the one that you guys saw, and it wasn't that interesting. So I didn't bother going because I was going to go, but then my family were like, yeah, it's pretty shit, we're going to leave. So yeah, not that great. Wouldn't recommend check it out. Like it might be cool for you, but overall it wasn't that great as it's shown. There's a bar down at the hotel lobby area where I watched some hockey there. It was all Canadians watching the hockey, but there's a lot of drunk asshole Americans, I will say, that are in Mexico. They go down, they get drunk, and they just fuck with you. So be careful of that. Do as you will. In terms of safety, yeah, like I said briefly, Cabo is pretty safe. For Mexico, it is a safe spot. There's not too much cartel action going around there, and if there is, it's mainly them protecting the area. There's not much crime. I know in 2013, when I was there for the first time, I left, and like a month later, or not a month, I think it was like a year later, there was a big incident. That wasn't great, obviously, but that's pretty rare there, so I would not worry about it at all. Safety-wise, you're good. Now, do you need to know Spanish to be there? At the resort, no. Pretty much everyone at the resort speaks English. And the only people that I encountered that didn't really speak English was the maid. The maids, they did not really speak English, but most of the workers that I encountered, they spoke English fine or enough to get by. I think I had one waitress, and she didn't really speak English very well. My Spanish is okay. Like, I'm nowhere near fluent. Like, I'm not saying my Spanish is good, but I know a little bit. So I was able to easily talk with her. If you just learn a few things like tea, té, or coffee, cafe, something like that. Or like, oh, I want oranges, naranja. Just single words like that to get you by is super, super helpful. So I would learn a few words when it comes to food, because even if you aren't in the resort, you're going out to order stuff, definitely learn words for food. That's a really good recommendation that I would give you guys, another tip there. Now, how's Uber work? So Uber, they're not allowed to come into the hotel, really. I mean, they do, because a lot of the workers there, they don't give a shit, so you can drive through, but you're not supposed to get picked up. Like, Uber won't let you have the pickup spot inside your resort, so you have to leave the gate, go out, and then they even do checks as well. I remember one guy was worried he was worried about getting checked because he'll get fined if you're by the resort, or if you go into the resort to get people to come out. So there's sanctions. There's like areas as well where they check. The cops are there and they will check and give you a fine. So be aware of that. You're gonna have to leave your resort to go to the Uber and then go. And then they're not supposed to go in to drop you off, but a lot of them do. They don't really care. As long as there's not cops there, should be fine. But that's up to the driver, obviously. Overall, would I recommend Mexico? Yeah, 100%. Like I mentioned, I think the culture is really unique, really cool. Nowhere else in, Canada or the States. I know the States have a big Hispanic community, but it's so different, really, from, Canada and U.S. have a lot more similarities than Mexico does to both Canada and the U.S. So definitely I would recommend going to Mexico, specifically Cabo San Lucas as well. Big tourist spot, obviously, but yeah, I would recommend check it out. Yeah, I got my package deal through WestJet, and then I got the all-inclusive with the resort. So it was all together. So you pay for a flight, you pay for your stay for however many days. For me, it was 7. You get all the food included. You got all the drinks included, yada, yada, yada. It's a good deal. You could find really good deals depending on the time of the year. Capitalize on that. Keep a lookout for that if you are interested in going. You will find one eventually, and they're pretty good deals. Now, when's the peak time to go? I would say winter break because, yes, there are a lot of tourists, and yes, it is expensive, but you find people more your age. If you're in the age between, if you're a university student, so I went during a break that I had in February, a reading break, there was nobody my age. There were a few people in their 20s, one guy from UBC there who I saw, shout out to you, but it was mainly old people because kids are in school, right? High school kids are in school, elementary kids are in school. I saw young kids 4 years old or lower, but it's mainly old people. When I say old people, I mean people 60s plus. So there wasn't many middle-aged people, a few, not many, but the biggest demographic, I would say, 60 plus, and then middle-aged, and then young kids. And then my group was very limited, very few of us. So I would say try to go in December when it's not too hot. You get a nice break. You get to be with people your age if you're around my age, so I would recommend that. I would recommend generally, though, if you're not going to go in December, wintertime. When I would recommend not to go, though, is in the summer. Don't go in the summer. It's way too hot. It's 30s plus, and it is cheaper. So if you're trying to save money and you don't mind some heat, go ahead, but I wouldn't recommend it for the average person. I think it's too hot, but do as you will. All right, guys, so this has been the Mexico special. I hope you guys enjoyed. I've been planning this for a while. Super happy to finally release this. I got another travel special that I filmed. That's not been edited yet, but it has been filmed. And then in 3 weeks' time as of recording, I am going somewhere else. I'm going to be filming there, making that into a special as well. A lot of the footage here is obviously me in the studio, but the next 2 coming up are going to be me in those countries and spending more time with those people that I'm with instead of just me here. When I went to Mexico, I went with my family, so I wanted to spend a lot of time with them and not really on the camera too much and more in the studio here. So next 2 specials, you're not going to see me in the studio as much. I still thought this episode was really, really cool. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tips and tricks for your trip to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. It's an awesome place. Hope you guys enjoyed if you do go. Yeah, this has been Avenues Podcast, and I'm going to be signing out here. I'll see you guys in the next episode. This has been Avenues episode 223. Peace. Dile que tú eres mía.